Happy Friday. We are going to do day 2 of what we did yesterday. I would like everybody to pause the video and try examples A and B on your own. Okay, if you look at example A, it's a very basic two-step equation. You add 4 to both sides and divide by 3 and end up with x equals 5. Again, I want to point out on example B, we know we're going to subtract our 8 from both sides, but then we're left with a negative x. Remember, negative x means that it's negative 1x, so you have to divide both sides by negative 1. So our answer is actually x equals positive 5. If everybody got those correct and don't have any questions, pause the video and try examples C and D. Example C, you can see that we have x equals negative 1. Pause that so you can check C before we move on to example D. If you look at example D, after we subtract 3 from both sides, we end up with 11. Now, if we divide both sides by negative 2, we know that negative 2 does not evenly divide into 11, which is fine. It's okay to get a fraction. Please leave me a simplified fraction instead of a decimal. If you put negative 5.5, no, it's not wrong, but we will learn here very, very quickly that decimals are typically an approximate answer, whereas fractions are an exact answer. So go ahead and get in the habit now of leaving your answer as a simplified fraction. So negative 11 over 2 is what I'm looking for example D. Okay, if we look at example E, we have a bunch of fractions in here. Now, stop and ask yourself for a second, am I going to subtract first or am I going to multiply first, and what's the difference? On this example, we are going to subtract 2 first. We only multiply if there's more operations up here in the numerator. This one only has the variables, so we are going to subtract first. So we have y divided by 5 equals negative 10. Now we can multiply both sides by 5. 5's cancel. We're left with y equals negative 50. Okay, take a minute and try examples F on your own. Okay, here's example F. We're going to again subtract first. 1 minus 10 is negative 9 times 3 is negative 27. If the class is comfortable in knowing how to do these, you may skip G and H and move on to the last page. If not, let's do a couple more examples. If you chose to do the last 2 examples on this page, here's the work and the answers for examples G and H. Pause the video so everybody can check. Okay, if we look at the back 4 examples, they're a little bit different. Remember, these have the operation in the numerator. So instead of being able to add 4 first, this is one of the special times where we have to actually multiply first. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2 so that we can break up that fraction. If we multiply both sides by 2, that leaves y minus 4 on the left side equals 20. Now we have a simple one-step equation where we can add 4 to both sides and get y equals 24. So pause the video and I want you all to do example J on your own. Okay, example J is very similar where you have to multiply by 3 first and then we can add 8 and get x equals 29. Let's look at K together. Again, this is another one where we have to multiply by 5 first. So you can pause the video and finish that on your own. You can see, for example, K, B equals negative 8. Now, let's talk about L because there's 2 different ways we can do it. Okay? We can look at this and see that we have G minus 3 divided by 3 and say, okay, we're going to multiply by 3 on both sides. For now, I think that's probably the easiest method to use because we see that the 3's will cancel out here and the 3's will cancel out on the right side. So we're left with G minus 3 equals 5. And then that leaves the last step to do where we add 3 to both sides. So that's the easiest method, and I think that's the method we're going to stick with for today. In a couple weeks, we're going to learn how to cross multiply, which I know some of you all have heard of before. But you have to be careful since this is 2 terms on top with your cross multiplication. So for today, we're just going to stick with multiply both sides by 3. We don't really care about this 5/3 over here in the beginning. because it's not on the same side as our variable. But it just so happens to be that our 3's do cancel out. So that's all the notes for today. Use these to complete your assignment for tonight that'll be due on Monday. You will also have a quiz on Monday over this lesson. So quiz on Monday over this lesson. You all have a good weekend. Email me or send a remind text if you have any questions.